Oh, oh, mm.
The Palais Mermonia's idea of crisis awareness defies words.
It should be fine. I'm sure it'll get resolved.
I've never seen anything like it. I simply could not believe it. The Palais Mermonia's idea of crisis awareness
I'm sure
defies
it'll get
words. I've never seen anything like it. I simply could not believe it.
Should be a lighthouse of truth.
Oh, oh,
Palais Mermonia's idea of crisis awareness defies words.
It should be fine. I'm sure it'll get resolved.
I've never seen anything like it. I simply could not believe it.
Should be a lighthouse of truth.
The Palais Mermonia's idea of crisis
Should be
awareness
fine.
defies
I'm sure it'll get
words.
resolved.
A good newspaper should be a lighthouse of truth.
I've never seen anything like it. I simply could not believe it.
It should be fine. I'm sure it'll get resolved.
The Palais Mermonia's idea of crisis awareness
oh,
defies words.
oh,
Lighthouse of truth.
I've never seen anything like it. I simply could not believe it.
It should be fine. I'm sure it'll get resolved.
The Palais Mermonia's idea of crisis awareness defies words. I've never seen anything like it. I simply could not believe it.
It should be fine. I'm sure it'll get resolved.
The Palais Mermonia's idea of crisis awareness defies words.
I do love Spina di Rosula's logo. It was designed by my mother. Have you noticed how it's shaped like a heart?
It should be fine. I'm sure it'll get resolved.
The Palais Mermonia's idea of crisis awareness defies
Oh,
words.
oh,
I've never seen anything like it. I simply could not believe it.
It should be fine. I'm sure it'll get resolved.
The Palais Mermonia's idea of crisis awareness defies words. I've never seen anything like it. I simply could not believe it.
It should be fine. I'm sure it'll get resolved.
A good newspaper should be a lighthouse of truth.
The Palais Ammonia's idea of crisis awareness defies words.
I've never seen anything like it. I simply
Oh, oh,
I'm sure it'll get
The Palais Ammonia's idea of crisis awareness defies words.
It should be fine. I'm sure it'll get resolved. I've never seen anything like it. I simply could not believe it.
The Palais Ammonia's idea of crisis awareness defies words.
I'm sure it'll get resolved. I've never seen anything like it. I simply could not believe it.
my time with the Spina has taught me that carrying an unreliable weapon is worse than not carrying one at all.
It should be fine. I'm sure it'll get resolved.
The Palais Ammonia's idea of crisis awareness defies words.
Oh, oh,
It should be fine. I'm sure it'll get resolved.
I do love Spina di Rosula's logo. It was designed by my mother. Have you noticed how it's shaped like a heart? Oh, oh,
I'm sure it'll get resolved. I've never seen anything like it. I simply could not believe it.
my time with the Spina has taught me that carrying an unreliable weapon is worse than not carrying one at all.
It should be fine. I'm sure it'll get resolved. I've never seen anything like it. I simply could not believe it.
The Palais Ammonia's idea of crisis awareness defies words.
It should be fine. I'm sure.
I do love Spina di Rosula's logo. It was designed by my mother. Have you noticed how it's shaped like a heart?
Just then, rain stopped. Or should it keep raining? Enjoy the festival.
Oh. Oh. Mm.
Trial or treat?
Work, everyone! We're looking to wrap with our two main ladies today. I can already smell our success.
What do you mean, looking to rap? Oh, aren't you the expert now?
This upcoming scene is the two musketeers' final confrontation with the Baron. There will be quite a bit of action, but no choreography beyond what we've already rehearsed. Anyway, get ready. Lights, camera, action!
The view is beautiful tonight. It reminds me of that fateful night 10 years ago. And now that I've said it, I can even make out the faint fragrance of herbal tea in the air.
Enough, villain! It's time that you pay for the death of our mother!
My dear Iris, have you forgotten your manners? How can you speak like...
I'd sooner swallow all of my teeth than call you father.
What did I expect? Seems the daughters have turned out to be just as obstinate as their foolish mother. In this world, mora and status is everything. She thought she could blackmail me using her children and force me to grant her recognition and concessions? Ah, how naive can a woman be?
Mother never asked a single thing of you. All she would...
It was you who personally brewed the poison of prejudice and sent Mother to her death. Compared to that deadly poison, the 2 bullets that will soon pierce through your heart will be like sweet mercy.
And that's exactly why I said you're just as naive as her. Did you really think 2 muskets would be enough to defeat me? So let's see. What is stronger? Mora and power, or the 2... Get them!
Tulip! There are too many of them!
It'll be okay. We'll cover... And Mother will be watching over us, too. Hands where I can see them! Drop your weapons!
Whirling snow!
Stop right there!
You've lost.
To think I'd lose.
We are no children of yours, and we'll never call that place our home.
You lost your mother, and will soon kill your father as well. What will you gain in the end, other than sentences for your...
We will gain our long-awaited justice. It's over.
Finally, it's over. So, where will you go now, Tulip?
I'm not too sure, Iris. Maybe somewhere with lots of flowers? After all, Mother always did love going where the blossoms were. What about you?
What?
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
Huh? Tulip, look!
What is it?
It's Mother's favorite. The rainbow rose. Look, it's blooming again.
Excellent! That was beyond mesmerizing. Even I didn't expect the scene to go so well. And we got it in a single take. All right, everyone. We've got a wrap for Tulip.
Congratulations, Ayaka and Chevrolet! Thank you. I didn't expect our parts to...
Paimon totally... You were great too, Chevrolet. The way you said, long-awaited justice.
That is indeed my favorite line in the whole book. I still remember trying to act it out in my room the first few times I read it.
Whoa, Paimon would have never guessed you're that type.
Who doesn't like stories where the guilty are punished and justice prevails over evil? Don't forget, I'm the captain of the Special Security and...
Captain, I have something urgent to report.
Please excuse me, everyone. I'll be back in just a moment.
It's okay, don't worry about us.
Oh? Was she whisked away by work already? I was just about to tell her how great she did.
It seemed like some urgent official...
Then perhaps we should thank the stars that we were able to wrap both of your parts so quick. Anyway, I actually came over to let everyone know that we're all done for today. You can... And one last thing, Miss Ayaka. Your acting skills today were immaculate as always. Are you sure you won't consider taking up full-time...
Thank you for your kind words, Director Farina. Unfortunately, nevertheless, I will make...
Oh, that's a shame. But I understand. Just let me know if you ever change.
I believe it's also about time for me to take my leave. See you tomorrow, Traveler and Paimon.
Yep, see you tomorrow. Well, what should we do next? Maybe we'll go...
Traveler, Paimon, please come with me.
Huh?
You could say that our ship has finally chanced upon one of those small, remote islands of intel.
Paimon's exhausted. Paimon did... So, Chevrolet, why did you take us here?
Affirmative. It wasn't anything conclusive, but it should show us a clear way forward. Have you ever heard of someone by the name of Emily?
Oh, you mean that famous perfumer?
She's a good friend of mine. She's lent me her aid several times after I discovered the rainbow rose at the scene of the murder. I sent it to her. After all,
And then?
There was nothing remarkable about the flower or the trace amounts of soil left on it. But according to Emily, the rainbow rose left by the killer was derived from a very rare cultivar.
Huh? didn't know that there were different...
Flowers that are deliberately cultivated will always show some different features from those that bloom in the wild. We already knew that the rose left at the scene belonged to a special cultivar, but with Emily's expertise, we were able to pinpoint...
Oh, Paimon gets it now?
Precisely. And after we checked what we learned against some sales records from the past, we discovered that there's only one person in all of Fontaine...
Really?
It's the novelist.
But didn't you say he had an alibi?
To be clear, I haven't changed my mind about him. I still don't think he was the one who pulled the trigger. However, that doesn't mean the true culprit never visited him. Whatever the case, we will have to confirm it.
So you mean the next...
Yes, we're going to pay him a visit at his home. That should be his house.
There are so many Gardamex stationed around the place.
According to what he told me last time we spoke, he hired them so he won't be harassed or disturbed.
Huh. So there are a lot of flowers in his garden, but Paimon doesn't think we'll be able to pick one without alerting the guard.
Right, which is exactly why I think there has to be a special connection between him and the killer.
So, should we...
Just wait here for now. I'd like to take care of a number of those Gardamex first.
But they're so far away.
Don't forget, Paimon, I'm actually the real-life captain of the Musketeers. All clear. Let's go.
Oh, wait! Paimon's a little nervous now that we know he could be the killer. Can we go over our plan of action again?
I'll go knock on the door and make sure it's safe inside. Once we're sure that we're in the clear, I'll ask him to come with us for a quick round of questioning at the guard's headquarters.
But can't we just...
We still have no evidence that he's the killer, or that he lent the killer any direct aid. Still, it would be appreciated if you could pick a rainbow rose from his garden for me while I'm talking to him. It'll help the Marachose Phantom confirm Emily's theory.
Sure, no problem.
Excuse me, Mr. Baptiste, are you home?
Who could it be at this hour? Oh, it's you, Officer Chevras.
Would you mind accompanying me to the guard's headquarters, Mr. Baptiste? We would like to ask you some questions about a case.
Oh, is it still regarding the murder case from before?
I cannot confirm or deny that at this time.
So it is then.
Listen, I need you to come with me, Mr. Baptiste.
Miss Shavras, I'll save you the trouble. Oh, and you two over there? There's no need for you to pick my flowers either. It's not time for them to bloom yet.
Oh! Okay.
By saving me the trouble, you mean...
I will confess. I was the killer.
Huh?
He just admitted he's guilty!
Please relax, everyone. I'm not armed. The musket you're looking for has been buried in my backyard.
Then it's my responsibility to inform you, Mr. Baptiste, that everything you say right now will be used as evidence for the inevitable trial.
Yes, I am perfectly aware of that.
I must say, I hate this feeling.
Oh? Is it because I confessed? Or because you've been proven wrong?
Both, I suppose.
For the same reason as the one I wrote out in my novel, of course. I did it. I know you haven't figured out the link between the two of us. Had you done so, I'd have been taken away to the headquarters a long time ago. But that won't stop me from always remembering his grotesque face. After all, he was the one who killed my mother.
Your mother is still healthy and well.
You know, I was adopted as a child. I was referring to my birth mother.
That was never recorded in the orphanage's records.
Please forgive a 6-year-old child for concocting some lies to protect himself after watching his mother die right in front of him.
So, your novel, it was like a record of your life?
No, of course not. It was a work of fiction with many embellished parts. But I am indeed the illegitimate son of a wealthy and influential man who abused his power to murder my mother. That part was 100% real.
But the man you killed didn't have a Mora to his name.
He was a hired assassin, an irredeemable beast who sank his fangs into a defenseless woman just for a few bags of Mora.
But if that's really the truth, you wouldn't be telling us any of this now. You still haven't managed to take revenge against your father, the true mastermind behind...
I never thought I'd hear that kind of thing from the captain of the Special Security and Surveillance Patrol.
I'm simply skeptical about your motives.
It's simple, really. I've grown tired of everything and don't want to shoulder this burden anymore. You may have considered me too soft to pull the trigger. Well, as it turns out, you are exactly right. I've become
So you're going to call a stop to your revenge, just like that?
The true mastermind is too rich and too powerful for me. I've accepted that I will never be able to avenge my mother alone.
And so what? The characters in your book never gave up?
Now, Officer Shavras, I'm the one who has killed a man, aren't I? Are you trying to convince me to commit another crime?
What's your father's name? How do you plan to prove the veracity of all of your claims?
Well, I'd like to speak with you privately.
Sure. Why don't we speak privately at the guard's headquarters?
No, it has to be here. I must ensure that we won't be overheard.
Fine. Let's talk here.
When I said won't be overheard, I meant by anyone. I would like to speak with you and you alone.
Thanks. I appreciate it.
Please stay.
All right. Let's hear it.
Will you really believe what I'm about to say?
Well, that depends on what you're going to tell me.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
So that's how it's all connected.
So, it seems you believe me after all.
Do you want me to go public with this?
No, of course not. At least, not right now.
Then why did you bother telling me?
You've read my work. What do you think? Even if you were to go public with all of this right now, he'd simply deny everything. It's been too long. Almost 20 years. Anything that could be used as evidence, justice will never find him.
Not if you don't try.
I know that as the captain of the Special Security and Surveillance Patrol, you will always... But do you really think a cushy life in prison really constitutes justice for him? I bet he could lead an extremely comfortable life in the fortress of Meripede.
What are you trying to say?
I've been observing you from a distance. Your portrayal of the musketeer was exquisite. Pull the trigger of justice against him. Let the villain get what he deserves.
You want me to let you go so you may complete your revenge?
No, Officer Chavras. I know that would be impossible. No. What I'd like is...
Oh, Shivra sure is taking her time. Oh, Paimon's worried. What if he decided to attack her? Oh, you do have a point. Still, do you have any idea who the rich person might be? And why the novelist...
Sorry to keep you waiting, you two.
Hey, how did your talk go?
I've already sent someone to escort Baptiste back to the headquarters for questioning. He wasn't lying about the musket. It wasn't...
But what about the name? Did he tell you...
Yes, he did. But for now, I have to return to the I'll probably be quite busy over the next few days, so...
All right, Paimon understands...
Actually, there's still something else I need your help with.
Oh, oh, um, My time with Espina has taught me that carrying an unreliable weapon is worse than not carrying one at all. if it isn't my dear partners.
That voice! It's Navia!
I didn't expect to run into you guys here today. Are you headed somewhere?
How about you, Navia? Are you still busy rebuilding Poisson?
We've wrapped up most of the rebuilding, but there are still a few things left to take care of. Stocking up on materials, confirming construction timelines, discussing compensation terms with families affected by the disaster. Between all of that, I've been making a lot of trips between the court and Poisson. Well, though the victims have received relief payments from the court, in my opinion, as the administrators of Poisson, Spina di Rosula should take some responsibility as well. Our financial situation right now isn't the best, so all we've been doing is signing agreements for the damages to be repaid at a later date. Though just pieces of paper now, they demonstrate our commitment. They're necessary to restore the people's faith in us.
Oh, spoken like a true president. You're a really responsible leader. That must be taking up most of your time, though, right?
Oh, you bet. Between that and all the other errands I have to run at the court, I'm always forgetting one thing or another. So before I came over this time, I took a page from Melusa's book and decided to make a list of everything. This way, it's easy to see which tasks you haven't checked off. And then, since Melus loved using shorthand, I decided to also follow his example and come up with some shorthand of my own. But after running a few errands in the city, I'm kind of struggling to even read my own handwriting anymore.
That does sound like you, all right. So what kind of
Oh, want to take a look?
Let Paimon see! This looks like a piece of kelp wrapped around a stick? And this other one...
The first one has to do with confirming the final payment amount for the fishermen, while the second one is a reminder to try the new burger that just hit the market.
Okay, Paimon can definitely see how you might forget what each of these mean.
Thank you for your advice. These are the kinds of things you only really figure out once you've tried them out yourself. I thought that as long as I understood my shorthand when I came up with it, I'd be sure to remember the symbols when I looked at them later. Unfortunately.
Well, now you know for next time.
Anyway, I should have already taken care of most of the things on the list. There are still a few symbols that I can't decipher, but I don't think they're anything too super important. Worst comes to worst, I'll just make another trip.
Ah, so you're going to head back now?
Yep, that's the plan. Oh, actually, since we talked about the reconstruction earlier, want to come with me and check out the town for yourself? You said you don't have any plans, right? So we can just catch a boat and head over. It won't take long at all.
It's a bit sudden, but Paimon doesn't see why not. What do you think, Traveler?
Then let's go. We'll take a boat over.
Oh, you mean the aquabus, right? Like the Clementine one?
Oh, sorry. I meant our own boat. The aquabus doesn't have a station near Poisson, so we'll use one of the Spina's boats. All right, follow me. I'll take you there. The engineer is still doing a few routine safety checks.
So, Paimon has always wanted to ask. The 3 aquabus lines are all named after people in your family, right?
Yeah, that's right. Callus and Navia are self-explanatory, while Clementine was the name that my mother went by.
If you provided the Mora to build the lines, then why isn't there even a dedicated line to Poisson? Spina di Rosula built all the lines, yet you still have to take a special boat just to go home.
Well, what I heard is that most of our businesses don't actually use Poisson as a hub, so there was no real reason to build a line straight to Poisson. You are right that it is a bit strange, though. If you've already committed to build 3 lines, why not just add a 4th?
Yeah, that's what Paimon's saying. The aquabus is so convenient. It's really a huge shame.
Well, it is what it is. You know what my father was like. Even I often struggled to figure out what was going on in his head. But that would only be the case if he cared about what others thought. My father was always really stubborn. Once he made up his mind, good luck getting him to change it. From what I've heard, the rights of all the other members of the Spina only went as far as giving him advice or suggestions, and no farther. That included my mother, too.
Huh. Well, that explains why you weren't on the greatest of terms with him.
Yeah, because I wouldn't just let him keep getting his way. He was just... not very agreeable.
Boss, the boat's ready. We can head out.
All right, then let's head out. It'll be a while before we get to Poisson. Let's keep talking.
Navia, what was your mother like as a person? Oh, Paimon, sorry. She totally forgot that you mentioned before that she passed away during childbirth, so you probably don't remember her at all.
That's all right. I've heard many stories about her from the rest of the Spina. They've always said that they were sure we would have gotten along famously. While my papa was stiff like a board, my mother was supposedly super cheerful and funny. Their complementary personalities allowed them to make up for each other's flaws. My father would run the businesses and expand our reach, while my mother would keep the peace and make sure that everyone was happy. Their work made sure that the Spina could grow and thrive.
Sounds like they were not just a well-matched couple, but fantastic business partners as well.
Yeah, but those are just stories and anecdotes after all. It's hard for me to piece together a more complete or intimate picture of her. But sometimes I'd still look at the Clementine line and wonder, would the Spina and Poisson still be what they are today had my mother survived? Silver once said that a name is a kind of inscription, a way to etch a memory into the world. When given a name, a cold, inanimate object can gain a completely new meaning. So, I will always associate the line with her in my heart. Over the past few weeks, I've also begun to appreciate how water can take in and hold our most intense feelings and memories, as well as how one may reflect on their past by watching the sea. I've lost many beloved people and memories to the sea. Even though I cannot stop for them and must continue to keep moving, the fact won't change that they existed in my life and gave me the reason and motivation to move forward. Of course, I still haven't really gotten used to a life without them. But I tell myself that I need to keep looking towards the future. Everyone, even my parents, have already overcome so many obstacles. Besides, I'm the president of Spina di Rosula. I've got to keep my chin up. We've reached the shore. Let's go. I'll show you the new Poisson.
Navia, do you think she's doing all right? Okay, Paimon supposes you're right. She's really been through a lot. It couldn't have been easy shouldering so much by herself.
It's raining again. Finally! The rain has stopped.
Boss, you're back! Traveler in Paimon, welcome back to Poisson.
Oh, hey! Fancy seeing you again, Florent. Is it your turn to take care of Navia now?
Hey, I can totally take care of myself. For the time being, I'll go around without any attendance. We did hand over some of Malus's old responsibilities to Florent, though. It's been really nice to have him around to help out.
Thank you for the compliment, boss. As you see, I've been working closely with the boss on rebuilding Poisson. Mr. Malus was an extremely capable and respected member of the Spina. I've got some really big shoes to fill.
All right. There's no need to be so formal. Everyone's practically old friends by now. Were you waiting here for me? Did we manage to make any progress on the statue?
Yeah, we contacted a sculptor about the job, but they can't get started on sourcing a correctly sized block without knowing the design that we want to use first.
You're commissioning a statue?
So basically, we've been meaning to commission a statue of my parents in commemoration of everything they've done for the Spina and the town of Poisson. But since my father was known as Callus the Unfaithful for the longest time, it would have been too controversial to commission a statue of him. But now that his name has been cleared, and the town is also being rebuilt...
The funds to build the statue were freely donated by the people of Poisson to show their appreciation for Miss Clementine and Mr. Callus and everything they did.
Me? I'm just the newbie president that's running around and causing everyone trouble. Maybe we can have this conversation again in a few decades, once I've done more for the town and the people.
Hey, there's no need to be so humble. Didn't you just—
I agree wholeheartedly. I also
Hey, if you keep inflating my ego like this, I might just float off into the sky with my parasol. Just kidding. There's no way that I'd accept that kind of compliment at face value. At a minimum, I'd have to match what my father did for the people. Thanks for the vote of confidence. I just don't think I'm ready yet. Anyway, Florent, now it's up to us to confirm the final design, right?
Mm-hmm. We can ask the sculptor to start looking for a good block once we've decided on the poses for Miss Clementine and Mr. Callus. But we haven't had any real discussions yet on the possible designs. I feel like I should get...
There's no need for all that. Let's decide on a design right now. Hey, you! Come over here with me. Modeling a few poses, of course. Here, just pretend to be Callus, and I'll be Clementine. Didn't you say on the boat that Callus and Clementine sounded like great partners? Well, then there's no one better to fill this role than my most valuable partner. Florent, let's grab some reference shots.
You've got it, boss. I'll go get the camera.
Well, what do you think? Got any ideas? Well, I've actually discussed it a bit with Florent before, but I could never come up with any fresh or original idea, so I want to pick your brain for a bit. And
I'm all good here, boss. Feel free to start posing whenever.
by that, do you mean as if we were standing on a boat and looking out at the sea? Sure, let's give that a try.
Whoa, you really remind Paimon of a captain and their first mate!
Look over there, my dear Clementine. As you can see, every tree on that island is dripping with mora fruit.
But there's something off with the composition. This pose makes Mr. Callus look too tall next to the lady.
Oh, I see what you mean. Then let's swap.
Well, Paimon is a fan. A statue like this would look fantastic on a boat.
Wait, but we can't do that. Very few people would see the statue if we were to put it on a boat. This statue is meant to be placed in the town.
But then, since we're putting it in the town, the whole point of the pose would be lost.
Oh, okay. We'll try to think of something else.
A happy pose? You mean something like we were laughing together at a funny joke?
Would all that be able to come through with just a picture?
Would we even be able to tell what they are supposed to be laughing about?
Yeah, and that'd probably be a massive pain to sculpt as well.
Could one of you try striking a pose like you're talking while the other one laughs? That actually sounds pretty hard to pull off. Forget it!
Imposing, huh? Oh, I've got it. Let's try this.
This pose! It makes me recall Spina di Rosula's glorious golden age.
But isn't Clementine's pose a bit too bold and heroic? If we were to stick with this pose, maybe people would...
Well, tabloids did indeed speculate as much back in the day, but the Spina...
Oh, Paimon was just kidding!
What Florent meant was that we asked the journalist to choose a new alias. You're right, though, that this may not accurately represent the image of her in our hearts. Let's try to...
We tried a bunch of different ideas, but none of them felt...
Oh, don't worry. We still got a lot of reference shots out of the session, and each of them can be considered to be a souvenir in their own right. Let's just keep the ideas we tried as... Man, if I knew I was going to do a photo shoot with the Oh, outfits! Oh, that's the errand I forgot back in the city. Do either of you still remember that girl? The girl I went to see with you two.
Oh, Paimon remembers her. She was the one that we met while investigating Mr. Callus's case, right?
Yes, that's exactly who I'm talking about. So, after the case, she was finally willing to talk to me. And I said that it's fine, but young children are not allowed to join the Spina. She will just have to wait a few years, and then we'll welcome her with open arms. Since she's still a child, but how could I get her to believe that I meant what I said? In the end, I came up with an idea. I'd have a Spina uniform made, but I got so busy and distracted in the city that I forgot to pick the...
Don't worry, boss. I can send someone to pick...
On the matter of the statue, we should still come up with a few more ideas for...
We could have just done that from the start. Yeah, you're right.
Navia! Florent, guess who's back?
Huh?
Oh, well, if it isn't Coulter. Back already from the Fortress of Meripede?
That's right. I finally finished serving. After I got out, I immediately made a beeline back to Poisson. You'd say that familiar briny smell became a primal call, urging me to forget everything else and just come back home. You wouldn't believe how much I've missed Melissa's grilled fish. I dreamed about it every time I had to get a welfare meal down.
It's good to have you back, Coulter. You look as well as ever.
And this...
Let me introduce you. This is Coulter, another of Spina di Rosula's members. He was found guilty, but looking at it now, it was probably another...
Wait, Mr. Marcel? What do you mean? He was involved in some sort of plot?
Have you not heard anything at all about the water from the primordial?
Well, I know that Fontaine got flooded, but then the water levels miraculously receded. I thought that was all there was to it and didn't care to ask for any more details. Do you mean...
Oh, looks like we'll have to explain everything from the top. First things first, let me introduce you to these two. They're my most trusted partners, and they've been with me through thick and thin. Now you could call them Spina di Rosula's VIP helpers.
Oh, nice to meet you. I don't recall Navia ever generously complimenting anyone like that before. So you must...
Yeah, we are indeed pretty amazing. But we've been cool since before we even met her. Wait, now you suddenly resist taking a dig at Paimon?
Nice, nice. Spina di... Oh, that reminds me. Where are Malus and Silver? Aren't they always by your side?
About that.
Coulter, a lot of things happened while you were gone. As you can see, even Poisson isn't quite the same as how it was before you left.
They lost their lives, keeping me safe during the flood.
What did you say? This isn't some kind of morbid welcome home prank, right? You're just scaring me on purpose because...
I'm sorry, but it's the truth. They weren't the only people we lost either. Many others, including Melissa, also lost their lives in the disaster.
Malus and Melissa, dead. They're just gone? Malus, I was planning to give him a surprise gift once I ran into him again in town. I can't believe it.
Hey, keep it together.
Malus and Coulter were friends for many years, and even served on many missions together during the early days of the Spina. I can understand how he feels.
Oh, let's sit down somewhere, so I can tell you everything.
Okay.
I need to find something to do.
All of this, it's unbelievable. I can't believe that those stories were real. It all really happened. Has the world gone mad?
I think you and I both feel the same way about the profound tragedy of Melusa's loss. And the sheer depravity of Marcel's actions.
I thought Mr. Marcel would always stand by the Spina. It's unconscionable to have received all that, and yet still plot to kidnap and dissolve you for his insane research.
The good news is that the Confrérie of Cabriere is no more. Gone with them too is the entire synth manufacturing and distribution network. We finally closed the curtain on that long struggle.
Are you sure? But if Marcel wanted to rebel against us, he probably sent word in secret to Romeu.
Romeu?
Not a name I've heard before either.
Florent should remember him. You see, there was once a major internal dispute regarding funding the construction of the Aquabus lines. Romeu was the leader of the faction that thought such a vast sum of mora would be better spent improving the town of Poisson. But Mr. Callis believed that an opportunity to collaborate with the Court of Fontaine and the Fontaine Research Institute was hard to come by, and would allow us to build many valuable relationships. Not only would the Aquabus be a good business investment, it would also boost our reputation among the general populace, eventually paying us massive dividends down the line. But the two couldn't come to an agreement. Romeu ended up taking a lot of people with him when he left Spina di Rosula altogether, and the split was on extremely bad terms.
Ugh. And with Papa's stubbornness, I can definitely imagine how it must have gone down.
And of course, when he was suffering the slings and arrows of outrageous injustice, those relationships that he spent a fortune to build didn't help in the least.
Yeah, you could say it was the price he paid for sticking to his beliefs.
Oh, that's a good point. If Callis was really as stubborn as you say, then wouldn't he have argued with the rank and file all the time?
Oh, yeah. It eventually became a thing that just happened on every day that ended with Y. But Navia, boss, you might not know this. He used to be a lot better with taking counsel. With him listening to our advice, and Ms. Clementine also frequently on our side, it was pretty smooth sailing for a good many years. But on the matter of the Aquabus, even Ms. Clementine completely stood by Mr. Callus's side.
Huh. I never knew. But from my perspective, Romeo's position had a lot going for it. Couldn't they have sat down?
I think the Aquabus was just the straw that broke the camel's back. On that topic, they eventually came to a rather radical conclusion. They believed that Miss Clementine lost her ability to serve as an impartial mediator when she became pregnant with Callus's child.
So, they thought she had betrayed them? But that doesn't make any sense. Before she was their mediator, my mother was also her own person, and a member of the Spina. She should have the right to take any side she wished.
Yeah, but to them, even taking a side was betrayal enough. They felt like their voices could no longer be heard once their sole mediator had gone over to the other side. Of course, Ms. Clementine then passed away, and Mr. Callus began to regard the completion of the Aquabus project as her final wish. With that, the last hope of reconciliation was gone.
So that's what happened.
From that point on, Romeo and his people cut ties with the Spina, and never gave us any kind of professional or personal courtesy ever again. Perhaps they've regarded us as enemies ever since they left. But even so, there is still no proof that they ever acted in concert with Marcel.
I've also heard that they aren't in a good financial position, so they've been lying low for a while. But as long as they exist, they'll continue to be a threat.
Huh. I think Coulter's got a point. Both Marcel and Romeo had my father in their sights for a very long time. Even though Marcel's faction has been dissolved, we still don't know anything about Romeo's whereabouts. If they're still trying to get revenge on us, with how distracted and vulnerable we are, now would be the best time.
Good thinking, boss. We should keep an eye on them at all times. I'll let my men know right away.
Thank you for that, Florent. And Coulter, thank you for telling me about this as well.
Don't worry, it's nothing. Do you have a moment right now? How about we go out for a walk? I've heard so many incredulous things today. I'm finding it a bit hard to calm down even now. I mean, to think that I'll just never see them again.
Ah, in that case, why don't we go back to the court? I can pick up Adele's uniform while we're there as well. It'll save Laurent's guys a trip. Want to come with me again, you two? You don't mind, do you, Coulter?
Of course. That's fine by me.
Then let's go! Paimon feels like a lot's hinging on this visit.
We really are the best of partners. Come on, let's go. I'm loving this treasure hunt. I do. My time with the Spina has taught me that carrying an unreliable weapon is worse than not carrying one at all. Oh.